And good morning to everybody. Make sure you guys are working through this nearby. Ask you guys really one question. If I go ahead and finish up this attendance. Virtual students, be ready to read and ask questions out loud. That way everybody can hear you. I'll be calling on you. So when I call on you, so be ready to go. Okay. You guys want to go ahead and cut your cameras on? Go ahead. This is that day to do that. Alexis, are you on here? Shine, I didn't see you. Norwood, I see you. Got you. Present. I think I saw Devon. Nope. Michael, I got to email his parents. Robinson, nope. Thurston, nope. Yep, got you. Where's this absence? Okay, let's get started. All right, so you guys are going to need to go into CTLS. Everything will be there for you guys to get your links. Like I said, yesterday will be a high-tech day. You should be able to get to everything on your phone and otherwise as well. All right, so let's pull up CTLS so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Oh. You guys having a pretty good morning so far? Okay, so let's go to today's class. Everybody should be doing the same thing I'm doing right now. Go to today's digital session. All right, so what you guys will be doing right now is you guys are going to read this article here, talk about Prop 187. And what you guys are going to be doing is completing the reading log. Virtual students, you guys are going to post yours to CTLS under the lesson assignments. Face to face, you guys going to complete this worksheet and give it to me by hand, okay? And what you guys are going to do is read through this article. Just read through this article here. And what you guys are going to do, you guys got to give me 4 quotes or concepts that came from the reading, and then give me 4 also reflections from the reading. So I'm going to give face to face this handout. Which means it doesn't work. No, just tell me what is like. I know, you say something. Okay, so that means you have a pop-up blocker that's not letting you go through. All right, so I should give you the website. You should have to go there. I'll make a QR code in a minute. All right, so you guys want to have a total of 15 minutes to work on this. Online people, you guys go ahead and get started on this. The link to the reflection log is right here for you. Show it to you guys real quick. Okay, so for online people, you guys can do it either by print it out, take a picture of it, or do your own. But what you guys are literally doing is, again, filling out 4 of these squares. You gotta give me 4 quotes or concepts, particularly quotes. That's all you guys need to really focus on are quotes. And then you gotta give me a reflection on it. Your reflections need to be in between 2 to 5 sentences. Is that right clear there? Face to face, you guys just give me a hard copy and I'll take it for you. Online people, you guys are going to be doing it and submitting it online. This is not due later. This is due today in class. You guys are going to have a total of 15 minutes to work on this. Does anybody got any questions? Nope. Okay, so you guys got 15 minutes starting right now.
15 or 50?
15. 15 minutes.
Wait, where's the reading again?
Now y'all want to ask questions. All right, so you guys got to go into CTLS.
I can barely hear you.
You guys go into CTLS. And you go to today's digital session. And then you guys will go right here. It's a link to where it says learning from Prompt 187. And then there's a link to the reading reflection log there as well. So this is where you guys go is in CTLS under today's digital session for 12/8. I'm about to put a link for online people just to help you guys out. Here is the link for the reading. I'm gonna put that in the chat for you. Excuse me? Okay. Yeah, but I'm about to give you a QR code because it's pretty long. All right, so that's a link to the reading. You guys go ahead and start reading it. I'll post a link to the reading reflection in a second.
This is gonna take me 15 minutes to read this.
So y'all need to read quick, 15 minutes. Some of y'all been slacking, ain't been doing very much work. I'm about to catch y'all up on the next couple of days. We got a couple of days left for class. They're about to work our butts off now. So 15 minutes, your goal is to get 4, you get graded on however much you get done. I haven't started 15 minutes yet, by the way, either.
Could you say one more time where we find the questions?
There are no questions. You're doing a reading reflection log for it. And 4 quotes from the reading, and then to give me a 2 to 5 sentence response to it. That's all you're doing.
Okay, where's the response go? Is it in the digital session?
Yes, there is. It's right here in the digital session under the lesson assignments. You guys are posted here, the reading reflection log.
Okay.
Trying to make the QR code for it right now. All right, you can scan this QR code, it should work for you. You got it? Cool. Okay. I'm gonna show it to you guys one more time. I'm gonna give you guys a total of 20 minutes. All right, so this is the reading reflection log right here. You guys pick 4 quotes from the reading, then you put that on the left, and then you reflect on those 4 quotes in 2 to 5 sentences. Okay? So any quotes you want, that's what you're doing on. All right, you guys got a total of 20 minutes starting now. So thank you guys for doing those reading reflections. Let me just show this to you guys again. Make sure you guys post those reading reflections to today's digital assignment right here. It needs to be submitted by the end of class. I'll be checking for this at the start of the first block. Because everybody got me on that? If it's not there, you get a grade accordingly. So make sure you guys do this. And that's something I want y'all to submit later. All right. Just because I'm here, I want to make sure I show you this to you. Ethnic studies is an elective, and I don't want no one to fail elective, but there's some of y'all about to fail this class. But what I did is that I talked about this yesterday. I gave an optional assignment for people that want to do it and get back some points. So that's will be the current event semester project. All you guys are doing is writing 2 paragraphs, 5 to 7 sentences on the current event. Everybody has to do at least one. It could be any kind of event you pick, whatever one you want to do, it doesn't matter. It's due on the 15th by 11:59. But then everybody does at least one for the assignment. But if there's a total of 7 units in this class. If you want to do 6 more to try to make up your grade, that's including your test grades, things of that nature, go ahead and do so. Is everybody clear? You do one current event per page. Like say you do it in the Word document, that's the question. You can put them all in one document, but you got to put like current event 1, current event 2. You got to label them because each one you have to put current event 1, current event 2, the title of it, and give me the link. So you guys got to keep doing that. The one thing I'm going to say is make sure you really follow that template because I'm grading you guys off of that. And again, this is an opportunity for a lot of you guys to help your grades out. And if you got below a 74, that means you're failing, and you don't want to do that when it's ethnic studies as far as an elective. So please make sure you guys take the opportunity to do that. It's not going to be taken in late, but make sure you guys do that. Okay?
Hey, Dr. Tillwell?
Yeah.
Where do we turn in our response?
Response for what?
What we just did, the American Progress thing.
Okay, you can do that on CTLS as well under today's assignment. So if you go to today's digital session, go to today's digital session, Prop 187, and then 9/11 in the new United States. You click right here where it says lesson assignments. Reading reflection loss goes right here, okay? Face to face, I'm gonna come around and pick yours up once I start this GIM kit. All right, so let's go ahead and do this reprieve as far as affirmative action. We're gonna do this GIM kit. You guys got 5 minutes on this. Again, I'm gonna take the higher 2 grades between affirmative action, which I get right now, okay? All right, 5 minutes on this, you guys, good luck. All right, so hopefully that helps some of you guys out. Like I said, I'll take the higher the 2 grades. All right, let's get into the core for today. Let's go ahead and join this Nearpod. And we're gonna be talking about terrorism. So now we're moving into the 20th, 21st century. Gotta understand terrorism because that's what we're still currently in. We're still fighting a war on terrorism. So I wanna make sure we understand what this is clearly and precisely. That way we can understand how this affects everything else that goes on in the United States, both politically, economically, and socially. Because the way the laws are made is because of the war on terrorism and what happened in 9/11.
Is this the same Nearpod code you had us join at the beginning of the class?
No, it's a different one.
Okay.
It's a totally different one. Good question.
Are we answering questions with this one, or are we just going through notes on this one?
A combination of both. Combination of both.
All right.
And it does look like some of you guys did better on the second test than you did on the first one. So I'll be adjusting grades. I have these in for you guys by the end of the day today. Okay. So I'm gonna try to bring up as much as I can on the board. Again, I'm gonna be calling on people online to read out loud just to help us out. So take notes as needed. You guys got your Unit 7 test coming up next week, and this is definitely gonna be on there. All right, so let's talk about a history of terror attacks. 9/11 did not just happen arbitrarily, and I know a lot of you guys was not alive when 9/11 happened, but that was a big event, and it really changed everything that we're doing. Like, United States pre 9/11 was totally different than what it is right now. Many of you guys probably don't have no idea how it felt to like go and actually meet a loved one or someone you guys got coming off a plane. Like now you have to wait out like at the curbside or like right before they come up if you're doing that Hartsfield. You just made to actually go to the gate and actually meet someone. Like that's a big deal. The whole idea about being able to go. I remember being a kid and being like literally like 10 to 15 minutes late before the plane left and know I could just get through security. It's gonna take you about 20 minutes just to get to security right now. So because of those terrorist attacks that happened in New York City, everything changed, but it wasn't in a vacuum. Is I got me on that? There's a series of things that happened up to that point. All right. So the essential question we're going to focus on today is how has terrorism changed throughout history and how does it affect our lives today? That's what we wanted to kind of start thinking about, because if you start looking again, we're about to get to Trayvon Martin, Black Lives Matter, things like that, as far as closing out ethnic studies this semester. You can't really speak about that and how laws were made as far as, I forgot the name of the law right now, but when you just carry the idea of like the laws, even some laws for concealed weapons change in some states, depending on the state where you are. A lot of things change. Okay, so let's keep going. And this is being recorded for everybody to go back and review as needed as well. All right, so some of the objectives we're gonna have today is gonna be explain the history of terror attacks and how terrorism has changed in the 21st century. Remember, 21st century is what we have right now as far as the 2000s, okay? 20th century be the 1900s, so we definitely are picking up on what's going on right now. All right, so it's just a game plan on how we're gonna do. We're gonna do some engagement, about 5 minutes. We'll do some exploring as far as what is terrorism for like 15. We're gonna explain a little bit more in detail about things for 10. We're gonna extend that thought for like another 10 minutes. And then you guys are gonna evaluate for 5 minutes. You guys know how to do it in their pods. You think it's gonna be a quiz at the end? Yeah, it's gonna be a quiz at the end. It's gonna be on exactly what we're talking about right now. That's where your grade comes from. So make sure you guys are paying attention and ask questions that you guys feel needed. There's gonna be a couple of videos in here as always as well too. All right, so go ahead and get started. All right, so one thing I wanted to use is news ELA, and this is where you guys are gonna have to sign in at. For Cobb County, we actually pay for a subscription to this. You guys have to sign in with your Clever, which should be the same information you guys use to sign into your school accounts, like say your computer. I think it's your lunch number and whatever password that is, okay? So what I want to do right now, again, I know this will be, especially because we're not all here where I can help you guys out. Try your best to log in. If you're not able to log in, that's going to be okay. The main thing I like to use with News LA, you can put things on a reading level where you feel comfortable at. So let's go ahead and use this first link here just to sign in under my name. Bless you. You can click here where it says it's my first time here. And then, like I said, you want to sign in on the Clever. Is that right? Got me on that? If this does not work, I'm going to give you guys another link in a second to see if that works too. So one of the two hopefully will work, but I understand how everybody's not going to be able to get in. I'm going to make sure I put the article on the board so we all can read it though, okay? But try to get in if you can. Because there's going to be an activity that can help you guys out, and that'll be extra credit because I know not everybody's able to get
There
in.
is no Clever sign in. There's a Google one and a Microsoft one, but there's no Clever.
Okay. If you know your, so hold, let me go back then.
No, just click this I have an account first.
You can click Microsoft, still works.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Thank you guys. And again, if you can't get in, it's cool, but just try to get in because it'll help you guys out as we get through this presentation.
What's your class code again?
For the class code for what now? I'm gonna make sure I get the right one.
Newzella?
It should let you just go straight in. Is it asking for a class code?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second, all right?
Okay.
It's saying join the class, but it's not letting me click on join the class.
Okay. We're about to go there now here. All right, so now use this one here to sign in with Clever. Either Microsoft or Clever. It's just try to get in. This is something I would have done earlier and I would have made sure we got it, but it's harder because everybody's at different spots. No matter what, I'm logged in, so I'll be able to show you guys the material once we get there.
I don't see a class thing. It just says browse your content assignments and binder. Where would we find the class stuff?
Right now you're not gonna need it yet because what's gonna happen is that I got a reading coming out of Newzella a couple slides down, and that's when you guys will need to be able to log in. So right now I didn't put nothing in there because I didn't know how things will be looking.
Okay.
In other words, what I'm really trying to do is test us out, try to get us in there. Okay. I've been holding off on this for this long. I'm just trying, I need it now. All right. And it is another, I just posted a quick join link right there too for people that want to use that. Here's a QR code for people who may want to try to scan a QR code as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to get us all in. If we can't all get in, it's cool. Was anybody able to get in? Yeah, cool.
I was able to get in.
I think mine's about to work.
Cool.
I got in.
Excellent. All right, thank you for everybody. So at least I know I got enough people to get us into where we all can still work together, okay? All right, cool. For the sake of time, let's go ahead and move on then. All right, so let's experience a memorial at Ground Zero. Let's take about 5 minutes on this part right here. All right. So first, let's go ahead and do a collaboration board. What do you already know about terror attacks? So go ahead and give me your responses here. What do you already know about terror attacks? You can put a picture here if you want to as well. What do you already know about terror attacks? You guys forgive me, I have not ate. I need to eat some food if I go crazy. My daughter made these cookies for me, she's 7. They actually are pretty good. And you can like other people that you agree with or you find to be interesting as well. Go ahead. Okay, make sure you make your post if you already haven't done so. Okay, so thank you guys for that. So we got some different levels of understanding what terrorist attacks are, and that's cool. I appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about things from a critical lens. So now on the next slide, you guys are going to see the memorial from Ground Zero. Okay, this is from September 11, where you had two planes fly into the World Trade Center. What I want you guys to do here is just kind of think about answering the next questions, which are, who are terrorists? Like, do we really, can you identify who a terrorist is? Like, can you just look at a person and say, that's a terrorist? Like, can you do that? The answer is going to be honestly no, because you have no idea. Like, any of us in this classroom, for lack of a better phrase, can be a terrorist. We don't know because it looks like anybody, okay? Also, what are they motivated by? Again, don't use necessarily popular culture. Try to really be able to go out what you understand and what you know. And then, why did they choose their targets? Like, why was the World Trade Center a target? Okay, so think about those questions. Is this going to be a VR? And again, one thing I hate about us not being all face-to-face, because I have VR goggles that I can give to you guys where y'all can actually look at this in VR like actually was there. So you guys can use your phone, you can move around, give you guys like a minute or two to actually see this site, because I know a lot of us, we've never seen it. So this is where the Twin Towers was at. Going there. This is actually going to New York City. I went there. When did I go see my brother? Like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Went to DC, Philly, and then New York, and came on back. Well, yeah. Yeah, to get that shot, yeah. And then I also combined it. It was a lot of editing. I combined it with other people's pictures I found online. I just made a nice big one because mine came out kind of like that part is true, but like when you actually are there, like when you see like the memorial, that came out kind of fuzzy because of the lighting. The people part, that's something to me though. Okay. Has everybody saw videos of what occurred on this day? Yeah. Online people, have you guys saw videos of what happened on 9/11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember 9/11. I always ask the question, particularly from my college students, like, where were you in 9/11? They're older ones. But at that time, I was living in San Francisco. I had a test that day. And it was like 7 o'clock, like, I'm about to fail this test. It's a test of African American history. I was not ready for it. And 7 o'clock out there is like, 10 o'clock here. So the attack already happened. Foggy attack. I just remember being cold and about to fail this test. They came on a loudspeaker and said, all classes of campus has been a terrorist attack. I was like, yes, no test. I got home, I was like, saw the picture, like, dang. Like, my face is dropped. I went from, like, happy to, like, dang. And then at the time I was working at Foot, I was a manager. They closed the malls. And you guys know retail doesn't close. They closed the malls. I was like, yes. I was about 18, 19. Yeah, because I graduated in 2000. I was like 18, 19. I was still pretty young. But I remember I had no test that day, and I had to go to work that day. Now, on 9/12 is a different story because then everything started really happening as far as picking back up. But I had a flight to go out to see my girlfriend at the time who was in LA. That got canceled, and I could not get refunded because they stopped all ground travel. Like, no flights were moving. Like everybody just stopped. So 9/11 was very dramatic. Like I know we're living right now in COVID. We say that's dramatic. I still would say just because of the sheer nature of what happened, the way we shut down in March was, pretty drastic, right? This was just like 10 times worse still because no one knew what was going on. All we knew is that airplanes were being used as bombs. And again, yeah, it was crazy. All right, let's keep moving on. Okay, next question. What do you think the terrorists were motivated by? So what do you guys think the terrorists are motivated by? Please make sure you be as politically correct as possible. We don't want to offend anyone, but I want you guys to be honest too. If you look at the attacks of 9/11, what do you guys think they were motivated by? Go ahead and type in your answers. You guys can like other ones that you agree with. And you guys, I do keep track of the participation. Like I have numbers here. I got some people got like 96%. I got some people got like 9%. So make sure you guys are really participating with this too. Okay, so I believe everybody now is posted, right? Okay. A lot of people said religion. Some people said hate, different things. Appreciate y'all for that. All right, let's keep going. All right, so let's talk about some key vocabulary to make sure we understand this attack. The first one's going to be repression. All right. Can I get Khalil to read what repression is?
The act of using force or violence to control or persecute a group of people and limit their freedom.
Okay. So keep these words in mind for the next couple of weeks. So we'll be talking about a lot of different things, especially when we get to like say the Baltimore riots that happened a couple of years ago. That's something we want to talk about. So we got repression. The next one we're gonna have is gonna be guerrilla. So guerrilla, let me get Ryan. Can you read this for us? Guerrilla. Ryan, you still here?
My screen froze, so I can't move anything right now.
Okay, Noble, can you go ahead and read for us?
Guerrilla, right?
Yeah, for guerrilla, yep.
A person who takes part in an independent, irregular warfare against a larger organized force, often using sabotage or indirect harassment.
All right. So when I ask you guys what guerrilla means, I'm not talking about the animals. If I got me on that, I'm talking about the idea of guerrilla warfare. Remember we talked about Vietnam War earlier. So like that's kind of what we're talking about in this case right here. All right. Next up is going to be tactics. For tactics, let me get Mr. Martinez. Can you go ahead and read this for us, man?
The action used to achieve a specific objective.
That's very straightforward, right? So, what are the three words again? Tactics. What's the other two? Guerrilla, and then let's go back to it. Is it suppression or repression? Repression. All right. Keep those in mind over the next week of class. Everybody got me on that? Because that's going to be three key vocabulary words we got to make sure we remember. Because then this is the question I'm going to ask everybody when we get done. And this is what our last debate will be. Has the events of this summer 2021 and the events in Trayvon Martin, are those considered terrorism? Is everybody got me on that? And then we talk about terrorism from now on, and then you guys can make your own formulated ideas from that. But that's kind of what we're going to look at. Like, are these acts of terrorism? Is everybody following me on that? Regardless of the act that provoked it or the act that actually had the outcome of it, can we classify those are acts of terrorism? Does everybody follow? And you guys know how I do this question, so it's not going to be just a clear, straight answer. Utilize these vocabulary words and what we're talking about today moving forward to help you guys out with that. Also, to make sure to give you guys a reminder, it's in yesterday's digital session. Remember, you guys have to complete the Black Studies, the Rise of Black Studies, Ethnic Studies reading assignment that's due tomorrow. Everybody got me on that? So make sure you guys complete that. That really gives you guys a foundation of like why we even have a class of Ethnic Studies, and also why is Black Studies, Asian American Studies, all these other programs even available, okay? And it started because of a student movement during the 60s. But the reading gives you guys more in detail about that. It's NCTLS. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is go ahead and match each vocabulary word with its term. I'm gonna go ahead and take off your names, but go ahead and do this, please. Go ahead and match them up, y'all.
Be right back, Mr. Tibble.
Let's see how everybody looking. 1, 2, 3. Like 3 people still need to go. I'm gonna give you guys until 11:25 to finish this up. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. All right, a history of terror attacks. Let me get Ms. Brown. Can you go ahead and read this for us, please?
Okay. On the following slide, we'll read a Newsly article about the history of terrorist attacks. Here are the steps you should take. Here are the steps you should follow once you get to the article. Before reading the article, make sure your appropriate Lexile level is selected. While reading, highlight and annotate questions you haven't read and how terrorism has changed over time in green. After reading, complete the quiz to check your understanding.
All right, so for those people that have access into Newsella, complete the quiz, okay? It'll be bonus for those people that got it because I can't make a requirement because everybody's not able to get in, and I understand that. If you're not able to get in, that's cool. I still want you to do the part right here is talking about how has terrorism changed over time. Does everybody got me on that? And in fact, everybody will be doing that, so I'm gonna make that available for you guys to type that into the Nearpod, okay? So right now, let's go ahead and do the reading. And because of the making sure it's equitable, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen, hopefully.
It says we don't have permission to view this.
Okay, if you don't, because yeah, some people maybe have some issues. I don't know why. Because we should have been logged in already. But if you're not able to, that's cool. Just make sure you guys pay attention to the screen, and we're gonna read it out loud, and then we're gonna answer the question: how has terrorism changed over time? Okay. So everybody's gonna do that. It's extra points for people that can actually get in and do the quiz. Okay. All right. And if you want to do the quiz, you click right here where it says activities, and they go to quiz right there. Not everybody's able to do that, but you know. All right. I'm gonna call on some people to start reading, and then just read what you can see. Slade, can you go ahead and start reading what's on the screen for us, please? Starting right here. Slade, are you still with us, man?
Oh, yes, sir, sorry.
Okay.
People who carry out acts of terror use violence in an attempt to achieve political goals. They want to bring about political change by creating fear within the society they oppose. To do that, they often target innocent victims in famous locations. For centuries, terrorism is used by governments to create fear in its own people. It has also been used as a tool for revolutionaries who want to overthrow governments. During the last half of the 20th century, terror events increased dramatically throughout the world. Several organizations that carry out terror activities emerged in the late 1960s. Excuse me. their
What
members
happened?
traveled across national borders and often trained together in camps in Cuba, Libya, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East.
Thank you, Slade. All right. At the beginning of the 21st century, the United States labeled 29 groups as foreign terrorist organizations. So now let's read on acts of terror can have a mission. Let me get Morgan, can you start reading for us here, please?
The goals of these groups vary. Some groups, such as Osama bin Laden's.
Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden is the person who we blame for 9/11. Has everybody got me on that? So that's a big name. You guys got to make sure I know that. Anytime you hear Osama bin Laden, that's 9/11. Is everybody clear there? Okay, go ahead.
Osama bin Laden's network were Islamic extremists. They wanted to overthrow secular or non-religious governments, mostly in countries with large Muslim populations. Other groups were nationalistic. The Irish Republican Army wanted the British to get out the Northern Ireland. They wanted to combine it with Ireland into a single nation free of British control. The goal of many Palestinian groups was to establish an independent Palestine state and to weaken or destroy the state of Israel.
Hey, you good? Thank you so much. All right, now let me get Moss. Can you pick us up, please?
Yeah, I got you. Terror attacks include murder, kidnapping for ransom, airplane hijacking, and bombings. Some groups have been suicide bombing. The suicide bomber could destroy an important economic, military, or political target by crashing into it with an airplane or automobile carrying explosives. Some suicide bombers carried bombs on their bodies. During the 1960s, many terror groups resorted to bank robberies and kidnapping for ransom to collect money. Organizations continued to use these tactics. Some groups receive donations from people who support their cause. In the United States, the Ku Klux Klan grew during the 1920s because of the money they got selling memberships, costumes, and publications. In the late 1970s, the IRA received money from Irish American sympathizers. Some countries, such as Cuba and Libya, also helped fund acts of terror.
Okay. Huh? Okay, so let's go to now when in Rome. B, can you pick us up here, please?
Where do you want me to start?
Right here where it says terror has been.
Oh, thank you. Terror has been practiced throughout history. The Roman emperors Tiberius and Caligula killed people to discourage opposition to their rule. Starting in the late 1400s, the Spanish Inquisition used torture and execution to punish people who, in their minds, went against the Catholic religion. After the American Civil War, angry Southerners formed the Ku Klux Klan to threaten the newly freed former slaves. In the latter half of the 19th century, terror was adopted in the Western Europe, Russia, and United States by anarchists. They wanted revolutionary change, which they tried to bring about by assassinating politicians. From 1865 to 1905, various kings, presidents, prime ministers, and other government officials were killed by anarchists' guns or bombs.
Thank you much. All right, terror for social change. Let me get Giovanna. Can you go ahead and read here for us? Giovanna, you still with us? Okay, let me go ahead and go to Miss Levine.
Where it says the 20th century, start there.
Yep.
The 20th century witnessed great changes in the use of terror. It was carried out by both extreme people on the left who wanted social change and extreme conservatives who wanted to preserve tradition. Groups that did terrorism had more access to deadly weapons such as automatic weapons and small explosives. In the 1960s, more people than ever were flying on planes. This gave new opportunities for terror. On July 23, 1968, a group of terrorists from the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine hijacked one of Israel's EL planes in Rome, Italy, and forced its pilot to fly it to Algeria.
Mm-hmm.
This event is considered to be the first modern terror attack, according to the United States Department of State. Between 1968 and 1987, the number of international terror incidents increased more than 600%.
Thank you. Some of the most notorious acts of terror occurred in Europe. Israel athletes in the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, Germany were captured and killed by Palestinian organizations called Black September. A group called Red Brigades organized the assassination of Aldo Moro, a former prime minister of Italy. In 1978, particularly dead was the bombing of commuter trains in Madrid, Spain in 2004 by a group inspired by Al-Qaeda. About 190 people were killed and another 1,500 wounded. In the late 20th century, the United States suffered several attacks of violence. These were carried out by various groups, including some who wanted Puerto Rican independence, anti-abortion groups, and foreign organizations. So, are all terrorists the same? No, they're totally different, right? So again, we always want to, sometimes you hear like in popular culture or the media, terrorism is just one particular group. However, if you look at the history of it, it has been various groups, including even some Americans. Everybody got me on that? We don't talk about it much in school, but there was a bombing in Oklahoma City at a federal building. When it happened initially, it was a terrorist group. We found out it was an American citizen that did it. Is that clear there? And then we had different things came out after, but what I'm getting at is here is that not every terrorist has a specific ethnic background, religious background, or anything else. Have I got me on that? Okay. The first war of the 21st century, this gets into 9/11, but in the 1990s, witnessed some of the deadliest attacks on U.S. soil. The World Trade Center in New York City was bombed in 1993. So the first time the World Trade Center was bombed in 1993, and then it came down because another bomb in 2001. Is there I got me on that? So it was tried multiple times, in other words. Then, like I said, the 1995 bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City that killed 168 people. I just kind of reference to that. And then you had several other terror attacks on U.S. government targets overseas. In 2000, you had suicide bombers caused death toll to sailors about 17 on a naval ship, the USS Cole, in the Sea of Yemen. Has anybody ever saw the movie Black Hawk Down? Anybody? Huh? That's where that was take place in Somalia, and that was another issue where you had the idea of quote unquote terrorism. Has everybody got me on that? So we don't kind of move on ahead because this is really gonna get into 9/11. But what I'm getting at is this happened in a vacuum. Typically, we always want to say, "Oh, 9/11 was just kind of happened." No, it was a whole stream of things that happened before 9/11, and also was encompassed with 9/11. Okay. Is there any questions on terrorism from anybody online or face to face? Nope. Okay, so it's kind of hard to do a think, pair, share here in the class, but what I do want you guys to do is don't worry about the part of it, things like that, but I want you guys just to think about what occurred during September 11 attacks in the United States. What tactics do terrorists use? Do they always use the same kind of terrorists? Is everything still a bombing? Or do they other things? And then also, how did terrorism change in the 21st century? So more recent attacks, like, is everything a bomb? That's the first time I ask. Is every time you see a terrorist attack, is it always got to do with bombings? A lot of people, is every terrorist attack dealing with a bomb?
No.
No. You have various terrorist attacks. And I kid you not, this is part of the reason why YouTube is not the way it used to be, is that I vividly remember back in the early 2000s after 9/11, there was a lot of beheading, meaning people were getting their heads cut off live on YouTube. Is that right? Hear what I'm saying with that? Now, again, I grew up in South Central LA and I saw a lot of things, but I never saw nobody get their head cut off. And the reason I say that is that you saw every aspect of the head getting cut off. And for lack of a better phrase, a head doesn't just cut off. I got me on that. You had to do actions like in sawing, and you saw that live on YouTube. Is that what got me on that? I'm not asking none of you guys to go look at the video because they're probably not there no more, but it was rampant. That can happen a lot. You could call that terrorism or you could not call that terrorism. But again, it wasn't always bombings, was it? Okay. And again, this is really after the fall of Iraq. We talk about Saddam Hussein. We might get to him next week. We might not. I'm not sure. But it was basically where the United States went in, try to get rid of Saddam Hussein. We got rid of him. And the United States businesses start going, and then people start getting abducted. You know, got me on that? And again, people got their heads cut off. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, that what was happening at a certain time period of our history. Did y'all know about that? This is why, like, I'll say, Americans, we have a habit of just going anywhere we want to. Know where you're going, because not everybody likes America. Is that got me on that? And for that matter, we just talked about Oklahoma City, right? Not every American likes America either. And again, keep in mind, with everything's been going on the last 7 months, it's a lot going on that you got to make sure you always be aware of. All right.
Sorry about that.
Fine. So now go ahead, explain in your own words how terror attacks have changed through history. So go put in your own words. You don't have to give me no long dissertation. In your own words, tell me how terrorism has changed over history. Names are hidden, so you should be good there. Okay, I want to get to about 60 to 70%. So let's go ahead and throw this in. We got some time before class ends, but we want to make sure we get through as much as we can. Okay. Checking in on my screen. So thank you guys for your feedback there. Appreciate it. Some good thoughts, good comments. All right, so if you are still typing, go ahead and hit that enter key. And I want to go ahead and move on. So go ahead and hit the enter key now, please. About to move on in 3, 2, let's go. All right. We're going to go ahead and move from here as far as defining terrorism because we kind of already been talking about that. All right. The influence of technology is huge. Technology has also really allowed for better ways of communication and also organizing. So now what I want you guys to do is go ahead and answer this question here. How has technology exchanged terrorism and terror attacks? Consider as many different applications as you can. And again, we all use technology because we all got these little phones in our hands. How can these phones and technology influence terrorism? Go ahead and put your answers in. Let me get your thoughts on this. These I can't read on my computer, so I gotta read here. Okay, guys, go ahead and put your responses in real quick for me. Go ahead and hit that enter key. I want to go ahead and move on. A little bit under a minute here. You guys doing good. I always like the discussion board because people that don't ever talk us don't say something on here. You gotta get that participation grade. So I appreciate this. Okay. Thank you guys for that feedback. Let's go ahead and move on. You guys don't have to worry about this one just because of time. We're not gonna answer this question, okay? So we're gonna omit this one. All right, so now let's go ahead and extend our knowledge and consider how terrorism has changed our lives and whether our fear is justified or unfounded. So I'll give you guys the background on terrorism. And again, right now we are still currently in the war of terror. Is everybody got me on that? We're still technically at war against terrorism. Is everybody got me on that? It's something similar to the Cold War, whereas you may not always see active fights and battles, but we're still at war. Is everybody clear? All right. So, do you think terrorism has changed how we live in our lives? Be prepared to answer, but go ahead and give me your answers here. Either you're saying, yes, it has, you're not sure, or no. So go ahead and tell me that. Poll as a class, do you guys feel, as again, y'all living right now, y'all getting, many of you guys are seniors, you're about to move on into this world again that we have this terrorism. Even though you may not have saw 9/11, do you feel that terrorism is still affecting us right now? Okay, just for the sake of time, it's the smallest sample poll. But what do majority of people believe? Is it affecting us, yes or no? So most of you guys feel, based on the sample we got here, that most of you guys feel that terrorism is still affecting us. Cool. All right, let me get Savannah. Can you read this right here for us, please?
Yes. Terrorism and terrorist acts have existed for a long time. However, globalization and technologies of the 21st century have changed the way we see terrorism. Terrorist acts feel closer and drive changes in local politics, economics, and even tourism. On the following slide, you will watch a short video about how 21st century terrorism has changed our lives.
All right. So here is this video. Make sure you guys are listening up and paying attention, okay?
War on terror begins with Al Qaeda, but it does not end there.
Take this very firm stand against terrorism.
Terrorism and the supposed prevalence of terrorists has shaped political discourse for much of the 21st century.
This attempted act of terrorism,
An act of pure terror. The so-called war on terror has left us confronted by fear in the everyday.
You're letting people come in from terrorist nations.
A pervasive sense of danger that has affected the way we communicate, travel, and work. Has the notion of everyday terrorism affected us in ways we haven't yet realized? Are we living in a state of fear? The sight of terrified people fleeing through the streets has become all too common in European cities. Last month, the British capital saw similar scenes. Crowds of people in a busy shopping area believed they were running for their lives, but there was no actual threat. Panic spread as rumors circulated and police arrived. The Western response to this sense of fear can be seen in the changing face of towns and cities. Militarized police have become a prominent feature. Security barriers line roads and herd pedestrians. And an increasing number of security cameras and recording equipment monitor public spaces. France has been in a state of emergency since 2015, when an attack on its capital left more than 130 people dead. In the United States, terrorism and the sources of it have become grounds to alter migration and refugee policy.
And if you remember, ISIS said, we are going to infiltrate the United States and other countries through the migration. And then we're not allowed to be tough on the people coming in?
But what is the lasting psychological impact of terror attacks? And is the threat of terror actually worse than the reality?
Okay, so living under terror, this is what we're now living under right now. There's some examples of how terrorism has changed the way we communicate, travel, and work. I'm gonna just say that. Pre 9/11, we didn't have smartphones like this. The idea you can have a GPS constantly following you around, a camera that can hear everything you say. Technically speaking, if you guys look at the Constitution, that is an invasion of certain amendments. But because of the passage of the Patriot Act, passes of the Patriot Act and other things, and also just a level of fear, we're totally comfortable with this. I've seen it all the time in different classrooms, college and otherwise. Even some students where like the camera here, we cut off the camera because we don't want to be seen. Like that all goes into the idea of privacy. But that's some examples of it. And again, for the most part, most Americans are okay with this. So go ahead and give me your responses here for this. Get ready to close out in a second, okay, you guys? All right, everybody go ahead and put your last comments in. Okay, go ahead and move over and go ahead and hit that enter key. If you already have not done so, hit the enter key. You guys do got a quiz coming up. All right, moving on in 3, 2, who knows? All right. What I want you guys to do right now is look at statistics. Which areas have had significant numbers of terrorist attacks over the last 50 years, and how does the United States compare? You guys did not spend a whole lot of time on this. In fact, I just kind of want y'all to just see. Okay, cool. As far as like where is majority of terrorist attacks at, and how does the United States and align with that? Where does most of the attacks seem to be? Yeah, so you got India, you have Iraq, Somalia. You also have here in Nigeria. Do I follow me so far? You also got the Philippines. Yep, Philippines had a lot of terrorist attacks as well, over 600. Now, United States, 65. So compared to the rest of the world, do we get as many terrorist attacks? You can make arguments for reasons why, but if you live here, you think we got the worst terrorist attacks in the world, right? Based on how we see things. And you got some areas of the world that got over 900 incidents in India. We don't ever hear about India, though. I can honestly say I have never heard about India having terrorist attacks. And I'm not going to say I watch the news a whole lot, but I ain't never saw it. Okay? You also got down here, in so now you got Australia. It's not highlighted, but they got 4, so they do get some. Is everybody got me on that? And what I kind of want to get into is that every country has had at least 1 or 2 incidents, some incidents, except Greenland. I mean, Greenland's cold. If you've never been up there, I mean, it's frozen. Not saying it can't happen, but you guys see what I'm getting at. Everywhere in the world has some level, but the United States is not at the top of this list. Now, this data could be skewed. Is that clear there? It can be totally inaccurate, but we're just using this as face value. As I always tell you guys, this is one source. Always go look at other sources. Did I call me on that? Because then when you look at other sources, you start getting a full picture. The idea of a vantage point, the vantage point theory. Okay? All right, if you did not put a response here, that's cool. That's kind of want to show it to you. If you want to hit the enter key, go ahead and do so, though, okay? All right, I'm going to move on. Hit the enter key, but again, you're not going to be knocked down if you didn't get this right here, okay? All right. Now, quiz time. Let's evaluate your understanding, okay? This is the closing, so online people, this is all I got for us today as far as talking about terrorism. Come back on Thursday, now in the 21st century, okay? So we're going to be off and run into more modern things. Once you guys finish this quiz, online people, you go ahead and log out. Face-to-face, we'll come around and start cleaning up your desk. For questions, go ahead and give me your answers. Good luck, everybody. Again, this is our closing. That's all I got for us. Good job, and I hope this was helpful for many of you as far as understanding terrorism. Remember those vocabulary words. And it's going to be here in the quiz, too, if I'm not going to say nothing. But good luck. I think I do.